Welcome back everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Bills, and today we're dealing with the 2006 Mercedes-Benz E55 AMG Wagon. Although now it has a 1,356 horsepower, 1,021 pound-feet of torque, 7.5 litre twin turbocharged V8 engine. So I guess you could call this the E75. And yeah, it now weighs 3,695 pounds. And that's due to the fact that, yeah, even though it's been lightened over the standard car, it is still a large car at the end of the day. And the all-wheel drive system, off-road tyres and off-road suspension haven't helped in that, but they are necessary to get on this series. And it can only 0 to 60 in 2.605 seconds, 0 to 104.991 seconds, and going to a top speed of 253 miles an hour. So yeah, substantially more powerful than what it was originally. Talking about 2 and a bit times more power, and obviously it is lighter, so therefore the launch, acceleration and speed are all fairly good. Braking is decent for a car of this type and weight, but the handling is not particularly great due to the fact that it is quite a large and long car while still weighing a hell of a lot, and the off-road capability isn't particularly great either. It was obviously never meant for really going off-road, so yeah, the handling and the off-road capability are what are worrying me the most, but also the fact that it is at the end of the day a wagon, so therefore it is quite long. So whether or not manoeuvrability is going to be all that great, we'll have to see. Hopefully the all-wheel drive system hasn't hampered that manoeuvrability, but the fact it's quite long is not going to help regardless. So yeah, the fastest Mercedes we've had so far has been the GT Black Series, which is still situated in 3rd place. Not expecting this to do as well as that, especially when I'm not looking at the screen. Oh dear. Oh, well, this is entirely my fault. Right, ignore those rewinds. It's my fault for not looking at the screen and not the car's fault. So we're ignoring those rewinds. But yeah, Mercedes still doing well on this series with a 3rd place position. If this could match that, I'd be highly surprised. Because yeah, there's a lot less handling on the go with this car in comparison to that Black Series vehicle, and the braking isn't anywhere near as good, and it does weigh more. But maybe the fact it's more of a conventional road car will help it. Oh dear, well that certainly won't. It does have some proper go on its side, more than 170 miles an hour there. Even though it does weigh a lot, it does also have a lot of horsepower and torque to help shift that weight. And it doesn't have as much understeer as I was expecting. At the end of the day, this was only rear-wheel drive originally. And for now, the length hasn't come into it either. So maybe this is going to be a bit more nimble and capable. Oh, because of the commentator there. Car got away from me a little bit there. I was not expecting it to jump around and handle like that. Yeah, it's not particularly agile. It is in certain areas, but then it does seem like it's very easy to trip this up. Is bouncing around a fair bit as well on that new off-road suspension. I have found that in previous cars where the off-road suspension has been quite bouncy. Seems to be on cars that were sport tuned to start with, and this was with its AMG Airmatic suspension. Whereas obviously now it's a lot softer than what it was originally. Still getting up to nearly 150 down there. On the whole, handling the extra power okay. I guess the fact it's still quite a hefty vehicle is holding that horsepower back somewhat. But it still absolutely flies when you need it to. Keeping in with the fact that the original car, despite weighing quite a bit, absolutely flew in terms of acceleration. And there we go. So not quite as quick as the current fastest Mercedes, but to be less than 8 seconds off that vehicle is quite impressive for what is obviously quite a large, heavy vehicle. And yeah, but we're also slower than the SL65 AMG Black Series, as well as the 280 SL. But we are quicker than the G63 AMG 6x6, so we are 3rd out of 5. No, 4th out of 5 in terms of Mercedes-Benz vehicles, but we are quicker than a lot of cars on this series so far, with a time of 3 minutes 17.747, which puts us ahead of the McLaren 765LT, Nissan GT-R Nismo, Hyundai Kona N, and the Nissan Fairlady Z from 2003. And in terms of off-road vehicles, we're quicker than the well, I guess you could say Subaru WRX is a sort of an off-road vehicle, as well as the Kerbin Cupra Urban Rebel concept. I think that was an off-road car. But we are quicker than the likes of a Ford F-150 Raptor R, Chevrolet Silverado LT Trailbox, Rivian R1T, and a Dodge Durango SOT Hellcat. But we are slightly slower than a Plymouth Barracuda Formula S, Subaru WRX STI ARX Supercar, the Porsche number 70 Motorsport 935, Hennessy Venom F5, Dodge Coronet Super B, and a Lotus Esprit Turbo. So we are now in position of number 64 for this car. So yeah, that is pretty good, especially given its size. The fact we weren't able to reduce the weight by all that much was a little concerning, but it handled its weight reasonably well, especially when it came to certain elements of the handling parts of this course. But yeah, it did get away from us at times, and at the end of the day it does weigh 3,600 plus pounds while still being an estate car. So yeah, the weight and the sheer size of the car is what held it back, but it was getting up to good rates of speed at times, and it wasn't too terrible when it came to the off-road elements as well. So yeah, on the whole fairly good, but could have been a lot better, either from me in terms of driving or from the car. If we could have lightened it by about 500, 600 more pounds, then we would have been easily looking at one of the faster cars on this series, given, yeah, not only would have that improved the handling, but it would have also helped us in terms of acceleration, and yeah, we would have been properly quick. But at the end of the day, you can only deal with what cars you've been given. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.